And it looks like we're live right now. I'm gonna take the YouTube link and see if we can see ourselves live. It just takes a while to load, but we should be live right now. And I'll share.
And it looks like we're live.
I hear
right
myself.
Now. Okay, so we've been live for like some seconds already.
Let's see. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to mute that. I got the YouTube link. And I'm sending it to you guys.
Okay.
Okay. Wait.
Good day, everyone.
Oh, yes. Good day. Happy Sunday.
Thanks. Yeah, so it's been a while since our last meeting.
Yes.
A couple of weeks. So we'll kind of spend some time trying to figure out what we're going to do next. And yeah, it was worth the wait, I must say.
Of course.
Yeah. So we decided to, I don't know, Elahn, do you want to tell us?
So yeah, I decided that it would be a really great idea if we all just, discussed C# or .NET interview questions. It's something that, many people are going to have to come across when on their self-taught development journey, knowing how to answer those questions. And I figured, why not take that time, take this opportunity to discuss it together and discuss our interpretations of these concepts and learn together. So that was my idea.
That's really a nice one. And like you said, going into the developer journey, there are like different angles. Some would probably have a mentor, others probably went through school, some are self-taught. So different journeys means different experience and different manner of exposure. So it's really nice that we're going to be discussing this, especially from why say a junior developer's point of view. So I guess it's really a nice one. And so we came up with about 20 questions to solve from the website.
Yes.
And we're planning to discuss them, break them down to the least possible way of explaining them. So at least we kind of, the most simplest of ways, discuss about four of them, so that we're not like rushing through them. Just see how much basic we can make them, to the to junior developers level of understanding.
I like that. Yeah.
So, Elahn, what do you think? How do we start this? Sorry, by the way, we have someone with us. Sorry, by the way, we have someone with us who was supposed to be with us from the beginning, but for some reasons, can anyone hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm sorry. I think I broke up for a second there. Yeah, I wanted to introduce you, Sophie, but it keeps breaking up.
Sorry.
Yeah, so probably Elahn should do that.
I think Dreamy is also here.
Yeah, she is.
Hi, Dreamy. Just so you know, we're on YouTube live.
I'm just here in spirit.
Okay. Well, we appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, we're live streaming right now. I know I didn't send the link in the chat, but thank you so much for showing up. I really appreciate that.
Well, y'all look vibrant and pretty and fabulous and
Thank you so much.
glossy.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
so
You're welcome.
I was about to introduce Sophie because the first round of sessions we had was just myself and Elahn. And now we're having 2 more persons join us. That's interesting. We're happy to have y'all join the call. All right, so I don't know, Sophie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, hello, everybody. My name is Sophie. I don't know what else to say. Anyway, my name is Sophie and I write C# mostly. I'm from Nigeria. I think that's really it.
Yeah.
And you are
Thank
an
you,
amazing
Sophie.
person, Sophie. That's another one.
Okay, so Dreamy, would you like to introduce yourself or you're
Or
just
are you
going
still
to be a
here?
passive listener?
I was supposed to be in spirit, not introducing myself. But anywho, I'm Dreamy and I code in C#, JavaScript. So now I do full stack.
Awesome. How amazing.
I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying.
Yeah.
Prior to that, so that is awesome. And thank you for being here. This is fun.
Welcome.
You gotta take it.
All right. Okay, so Elahn, I would like for you to probably host this one. You know, I'm gonna learn from you so that maybe I'll pick up the next one.
Okay. Yeah, I'll start. So we're doing 4 questions today. I didn't want to make it like, too many questions because I didn't want to overwhelm ourselves and our viewers. I just wanted to keep it short and simple, but like really try to dive in deep and, see where our understanding is and learn from each other in terms of, my interpretation could be different from your interpretation. And just seeing where that leads us. So I guess we could start with the questions. The first question is, what is the .NET framework? And I can tell you my interpretation. I don't know who wants to go first, but
You can go ahead.
okay. So my interpretation of the .NET framework is that it is a platform that is used. Originally, it was used to build Windows applications, but now with, I believe, .NET Core, you can use .NET Core to also build applications on Mac. But it is a platform that is used for building applications, and it involves built-in functionalities consisting of class library, APIs, I'm looking at my notes, and yeah, libraries. And one thing that stands out to me is the object-oriented programming model. So let me know if I'm missing anything. I'm not saying I know everything about it, but that is my interpretation.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I don't know if Sophie wants to tell us us.
Yeah. So my understanding of .NET framework, I think it's I don't know, for me, I think it's maybe better to call it .NET because I feel like saying .NET framework would limit it to just the framework used for Microsoft. That is that you can run say .NET project on Microsoft. But with .NET, the present .NET, you can run .NET project on Microsoft, on Windows, on Mac and Linux. So anyway, I think really .NET is like the package that you have to have installed to be able to run .NET projects, .NET based projects, and to be able to build .NET projects. So if you have, say, the .NET SDK, you would be able to run and build .NET projects. But then if you have just the runtime, so I don't know if I should, maybe this is just an over, I don't know too much, but I wanted to like share my
No,
screen
it's fine. Just
and
continue.
explain.
Okay, yeah, you
Yes,
can share your screen.
yes,
Probably Elahn needs to give that privilege.
yeah. So let me do that. Let me share my screen. Let's see. Oh, I'm not able to. Elahn has to give me permission to share my screen, please.
Do you have it now? Like, do you have the capability?
So let me try that.
Okay.
Yeah, I can. Okay. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Not at the moment. Okay, now I do. Now I can see your screen.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can see your screen now.
Okay, great. So anyway, so now with .NET, yeah, so now I just Google .NET framework, and if I want to download, sorry, this is not the page I wanted to bring out. So there's this page that shows both the SDK and the runtime. Sorry, let me see if I can get that. Oh, this is not it either. Sorry. Download SDK. Okay. Okay, so let's see if this works. Anyway, the point I really want to make, so I don't take too long, the point I want to make is if I download the SDK, I'm able to run projects, I'm able to build. But then if I only download yes, this is it. So now SDK, I mean, this is not the page I'm looking for, but like it just tells you SDK and runtime. So if I download only the runtime, I would be able to run applications built using .NET. But if I download the SDK, the .NET SDK, I'm able to run and to build projects. So I feel like when we say .NET framework, so you can see below, that's like the older versions of .NET. And .NET really, it has like the CLR, so like the common language runtime. So with the CLR, we are able to build .NET projects using different languages like C#, F#, and I think VB. Yeah, so I think that's really it. Okay, let me stop sharing my screen. Thank you.
That's very detailed. Thank you, Sophie. Dreamy mentioned in the chat, for me, .NET is a virtual machine used for compiling and executing programs for our primary language. Nice one. Thank you, Dreamy.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so let me let me try to see how much basic I can make the explanation. So, like Sophie said, we don't want to be calling it .NET framework because recently .NET 5 came out, and then .NET 6 is also in the works. So that's like bringing up all of .NET's SDKs and runtimes into one, so that it could be cross-platform, could run on Microsoft, run on Windows, Linux, Mac, and all of that. Yeah. So that's until recently. But when we're talking about the SDK, when we're talking about framework, like Elahn mentioned, it's like a collection of libraries, APIs that we could use to make our programs run. So there was the research, the video you dropped in the group, Elahn. So when listening to it, I discovered like a way to explain this such that people understand. So when you're writing softwares, you're writing commands that you want your program to run from start to finish. Probably you're building a calculator app. You have to write commands that tells the calculator to take in numbers and then take in what's action they want to carry out on those numbers, probably add or subtract, then also calculate it and then bring back results. You have to type out all of those commands. So that's like a basic software. So you could probably write all of those codes yourself. But what if you intend to write a software where you're saying, taking the temperature, send it into the cloud, check for the conversion of that temperature. Now check throughout the whole world, what other country has that same temperature at this moment, and then bring back that country's details. So that's like a whole lot of information. And you probably do not want to now start writing all of that from scratch. So you want to have some kind of libraries out there that's probably written some of these and then make use of some of those codes in your application. That's what .NET or .NET framework is. It's like a library of collection, library of, how do I put it now?
Tools.
Instructions, codes, instructions that you want to probably implement in your app. So you don't have to now write all of the instructions yourself. It's more like an engineering company who wants to build a building, wants to construct a building, and they do not have to now start working on producing the cement and then working on fabricating the irons that they want to use for. They just need to go to all of these other companies that's like producing these things and then collect them, produce, construct what they want to construct. So now Microsoft producing the .NET framework or .NET is like giving us our cement, brick and stuff, and then we're just using the building blocks to construct whatever we want to construct. And that's like as basic as I can think of making it.
So it's like pre-packaged code that is used for building with C#, Windows languages like C#, F#, I think it said VB.
Yeah, Visual Basic.
Yeah, VB.NET. And I think I saw somewhere Perl too. I'm not so sure about that.
Are you serious?
I think I saw that somewhere while I was researching Perl. Like it works with Perl also. I was surprised. Like I didn't just dive into it.
Okay, I wanted to add. So I mean, just like Manuel said, one of the tools that that .NET comes with is that CLR. I don't know. I think I did not really understand this before. I mean, it's not like I understand 100% now, but I understand a bit more now. That the CLR really is what gives .NET that advantage of being able to use different languages. So I mean, and so you can even build your application using different languages and it would work fine, right? That whole thing of cross compatibility across languages, I think that's one advantage of the CLR. So, and I was even reading this thing of exception handling. And also that the CLR also has an additional feature of what now? Security. I mean, I don't understand that deeply, but I just know that the CLR is like super, super powerful. And also the whole memory model, I think it's because I just studied this, that's why it's really sharp in my head. But like the whole memory model that the C# runs with, I mean, I don't know, there's this whole like relationship between the model for C#, the memory model for C# and its CLR. Like, yeah, exactly. So yeah, so I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that we're still going to touch on the CLR while on this call. So I'm sure you're going to have a lot to talk about that when we get there.
Right. So, okay, so I guess for me, to make sure I'm understanding this and I'm, stepping away from this meeting with a good, solid understanding of this question, the .NET framework. Is it safe to basically state that the .NET framework is a platform, basically of pre-packaged code that is used to build with C# and F# and VB, like all those languages, that is based off of Windows?
I don't know. For me, I think it's a bit more like, so the .NET, with .NET now, .NET is cross-platform. I mean, that's why we're saying we can't say .NET framework anymore. So it's cross-platform. So it's Windows, Mac, Linux.
Right.
But it just so happens that it's a product that is like originated from Microsoft, but it's
Yeah.
cross-platform now.
Yeah.
But then the language C# uses the set of tools that .NET comes with. So when you download the .NET SDK, for example, you can't run a C# project without the SDK. You can't even run an application, like not an application you built, an application without the runtime, and the runtime comes with the SDK. So
Right.
yeah, so I feel like it's a bit more. I mean, yeah, a bit correct, but I feel like it's also a bit more of it's now platform agnostic. So you can't just say it's Windows. So it's platform agnostic set of tools that languages like C# and F# and VB can utilize. So it's those languages use the set of tools. So that's how I see it.
Interpreted.
Yeah. I mean, we probably need to study a bit more, but that's really how it is in my head.
Right. So just the fact that it used to be just Windows specific, but now it can be used with, like you said, Mac, Linux,
Yeah, exactly.
like not platforms.
Yes, cross-platform. Yes.
Okay, cross platforms. So because of that, like it's more of an outdated definition.
Yeah, I mean, framework still remains for Windows only, but the .NET as we know it now is cross-platform. Yeah.
And this is why I'm so happy that we're having this conversation, because, say somebody is going off of what they're reading online and it could be outdated, and then they go to the interview with this outdated information, and
Yeah. The problem.
that the interviewers want to hear. So I'm really happy that we're discussing this. We're identifying what seems to be outdated, and it's like, for you, it's based off of experience and understanding. Like, this is a really good conversation, and I'm happy that we're having it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Gabriel, do you have anything that you want to add?
Not really. I think we've touched a lot about that one, and yeah, I think we've gotten that out of the way.
Awesome. Okay. So let's see. So question number 2, what are the important components of .NET? Does anyone want to go? Maybe oh, are you saying something, Gabriel?
Yeah, I was saying something actually. So yeah, the important components of .NET, Sophie was mentioning some of them. We have the CLI, we have the class library, and CTS, type system, and a lot of them. So while I was carrying out my research, I came across this image, which is probably updated, but let's see. A second, please. Let me share my screen. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah.
I've seen that picture, I believe this morning, and well, it might be different.
Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, I can see your screen. That might be just a tad bit different from the picture I've seen, but I don't know if the picture I've seen is outdated.
Yeah, it's probably this morning or yesterday. No, it was okay.
Hello, Emmanuel. Internet is terrible.
Well, even if it's a bit outdated, I think it has most of what we would call the components of .NET, right? And then while I was researching for, I also realized the two more components. Can you hear me? Could you hear me?
I can hear you now. It sounded like it was kind of breaking up just a bit.
Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh no, it seems like we have some internet issues.
Let me try it. Not share my screen.
Probably gonna hop back on.
Okay, maybe he's going to try joining again.
Right. So I guess while we're waiting for him, I will say like for the important components of .NET, I kind of memorized four, like the four main ones that stood out to me. And it was kind of like in reference to the video I sent in the group chat. For me, it is, okay, let's try to remember. It is the common type system, the common language runtime, the framework class library, and application domain, but I'm not too familiar with that, the concept of application domain. I'll be honest about that one.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's totally fine. I mean, anyway, I don't think I also am familiar with all of them. The
Yeah.
only two that I really, I mean, that I'm a bit more familiar with is, let's see now, I want to bring it up. Oh yes, the type system and
Right.
the scalar. Yeah, I think that's really it.
Right.
The class library, I don't know. I think it's like, I don't know, maybe like those using statements. That's what I'm thinking. Like
Yeah,
so the way,
that's exactly how I was thinking. Yeah.
oh,
Like
oh,
the
okay.
music videos, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like the system does this that kind of thing. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, like system dot link,
Yeah,
that
exactly.
could be like .NET specific. Like I can imagine like a different I guess framework or platform using link. So yeah, system dot link, system dot collections dot generic,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
stuff like that. Like that's what all .NET should have access to those classes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think so too.
Right. And
But
then,
like for the sorry, you're saying something.
oh, actually, I was gonna go deeper into like with the common type system, but I think we'll just kind of cover that one in question 3, because question 3 ends up asking what is CTS, which is basically a common type system.
Oh,
Um,
I mean, I think they all like do they all like the remaining two questions talk about the CLR and
right.
C. Yeah, so okay, yeah, that's really it for me. But then this
I,
application domain, I don't
I
really know what that is.
don't know. Hey, and how about I just take this time to Google it and then
Yeah,
we
exactly. I think we should do
put
that.
up. So application domain. Yeah, especially, as Gabriel tries to reset his computer. Let's see. Application domain. As soon as I type in application domain, the first thing that pops up is the docs, the Microsoft docs. I kind of want to be in, I don't know if you heard of C# Corner, that website.
Which one?
Um, it's called C# Corner, and it's like
Oh
everything.
yeah, yeah. I think I've heard of it. Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so the article, and I'll have to make sure I link the article in the description box so that we can reference it later on, and anybody watching is able to reference it as well. So I'm gonna just hit that link.
I feel like for languages like C sharp, I really like how I mean to an extent you can really see the relationship between the what they call this thing so this thing of threading, like managing memory, even though you don't do it yourself. I mean memory, like the computer memory, so even though you don't do it yourself like in C for example, but like with this application domain, from what I'm seeing here, it seems like it's like helps it to manage like processes and like the part of the computer memory that is being used to run your application, that kind of thing.
Wow.
I think we will need to study a bit more, but I
Yeah,
just
I'm gonna have to study more. It's in the article. It says ASP.NET introduces the concept of an application domain, which is shortly known as AppDomain. And just keep in mind that this article is from 2009, so I don't know if the
super.
definition changed. Um, it can be considered as a lightweight process, which is both a container and boundary. The .NET runtime uses an app domain as a container for code and data, just like the operating system uses a process as a container for code and data. As the operating system uses a process to isolate misbehaving code, the .NET runtime uses an app domain to isolate code inside of a secure boundary. So it says the CLR can allow the multiple .NET applications to be run in a single app domain. So to me, it just sounds like it's a container.
Yeah, exactly.
All like everything together. I'm still, and which is why we're having this meeting. Is I'm still just trying to wrap my mind around what runtime is, or an app domain, like how things are captured and like stacked and all of that stuff.
I understand. I also just saw these articles that I mean I think some parts of the net are not, are not subject to change over the
Right.
year,
Oh,
but
definitely.
Yeah, I mean, these ones, they're like, I think 2017. So, the one you've seen, maybe, okay, you said you would add it to the description. So maybe I'll
Just
check it.
reference it. That one was from 2009. I'm sure it probably changed a lot since then. But yeah, okay. Did you want to touch on the link you sent me, or did you just want me to just add that to the description?
Well, I mean, I could, because this one, the second one even says how to create an application domain. I found that really shocking. How to create an application domain. I mean, like, there's so much you can do with C#.
Right.
So now this one, it says that operating systems and runtime environments typically provide some form of isolation between applications. So I remember that like runtime is really how the application is able to run. You can install. So something happened recently. I mistakenly installed a runtime instead of the SDK on my computer in the office. So I was trying to run .NET. It wasn't working. It wasn't giving me any error. So I mean, yeah, because I ran .NET build, it would just go skip to the next line. So I realized.
I'm understanding you. So you're saying that the .NET, like the entire code, does not run just off of SDK.
No, it runs if you have maybe a Windows application that you have built it using .NET using .NET for example. If you install the runtime, the application would run it. Like you can use the application.
As normal.
Yeah, exactly. But if you but you won't be able to build, like you won't be able to write code to build an application if you install the runtime. You need to install the SDK, the development kit, to be able to write code and test it. So, but then the SDK also comes with the runtime. So the SDK is like 2-in-1.
So the SDK is a part of the runtime?
No, the runtime is part of the SDK. So
runtime is part of the SDK. Thank you so much for explaining. So the SDK is used to build the code and to test the code. The runtime is used to actually run the code. And
no, I think it's more of to run an application that is built, that has already been built using .NET. Like you can't do anything with the code. Like you just want to run the application and see it working. Like, for example, if you install an application on your phone, for example, but you cannot change the code of the application because you don't have Android Studio on your phone. So that's an example. So I think that's it. So, anyway, the reason why I said this is because in this application, they were saying operating systems and runtime environments provide some form of isolation between application. So Windows uses processes to isolate applications. So I don't remember the commands that you can use to see the processes running on your system. Let me see. But there's a command you can run and then see all the processes.
Okay, while you're
Because
checking
it explains.
I'm sorry, guys. My internet just keep dropping me off. Like,
Sorry.
I don't know. Yeah, but I think I'm back. So probably for the rest of the call, I'll be on, and I wouldn't share my screen. I don't know. I guess that was what caused the issue, but I'm back.
Well, we're happy to have you back. Yeah, and I'm sorry that you're having problems with the internet. Fingers crossed.
It's fine. It's fine.
Real good.
Sorry. Yeah.
All right, Sophie. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Sorry. Anyway, I don't remember this. the process. There's a way you can see the process running. I don't remember. Anyway, so sometimes you can see that your browser is taking like, I don't know, so much percentage of like your entire CPU. I think, I don't know, but I feel like the process is like what divides the CPU memory. This is me just based on what I've seen. Anyway, so yeah, it says that the article is saying that Windows uses processes to isolate applications so that one code running does not affect the other code. The other application running. So it's like an isolation. So I think another thing that would help us understand is understanding this thing of compilation of code. Yeah, because .NET uses GI, it's just in time compilation. So I think it will help because here they are saying that. Emmanuel, let me share the article again so that you understand what I'm saying.
Just so I am not, just so I'm
Yeah, I want to share the article again.
all right.
The one
Yeah, because I'm a bit lost. I really don't know what both
Yeah,
talking
sorry.
about
Sorry.
processes and stuff. Okay, so AppDomain. Okay, talking about AppDomains. Okay, I'm really not sure I know much about this. I saw it in the image I shared. One of the what's it called now components of okay, it's not there. I was looking at the image I shared. It's not there. But I saw it in one of my research. I really didn't think further into it. So I'm not sure I can I can explain that.
Yeah, me too.
Let me
We're just looking at the article
yeah,
and
for
trying to
now.
understand.
All right. All right. Okay. Okay. I also don't want to do my system right now, so it doesn't give another issue. So let's just stop it. Probably on our next call we'll talk about it. I don't know if
No
that's fine.
problem. Totally fine.
All right. Yeah. So what have you talked about while I was away? I think I left when we were talking about components or .NET.
Yeah.
What else have we talked about?
So yeah, that's where we left off at. We were just discussing the most important components of .NET.
Okay.
And we touched on how common language runtime. Let's see what else. Dang it. And I'm so happy that I'm being tested right now. Common language runtime. What was that?
There's a class library also. There's also the class library.
Yeah, the class library. Okay, so yeah, common language runtime, common type system, class library, and application domain. But I'm so like application domain is just so I don't know it. And that's why we looked up what it meant. So right now Sophie was just kind of like reading the Microsoft Docs article to see what application domain means.
Oh, okay.
And Sophie made a really good point because I was also thinking it as well, like with the class library, it's basically, the idea of the using directives, how, all .NET, like whether it's like the platform or the framework, it should have access to those using directives, like system.link or system.collections.generic. That's basically the idea of class library for .NET. But yeah, so that was a really good point that she had made. And then, yeah, we started talking about application domain.
Oh, you've already talked about class library. Have you already talked about class libraries?
It was breaking up for me. So sorry, I couldn't really catch what you were saying. I mean, it's probably my.
Okay, I'm sorry. So I was saying you already talked about class libraries.
Pretty much. Just that's my understanding is just those using directives, like, because it's the same for each, like, whether it's, I would assume whether it's like C# or if you're using F#, just having access to those using directives.
First of all, let's confirm if you're hearing me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. So, yeah, I was, I'm sorry, my internet is a lot. Sorry, I wasn't here when you talked about it. I think what mentioned using directory, so that you're talking about libraries from nuggets. Yeah, I guess that's what you talked about, right?
Right, and I just want to let
Yeah, exactly.
that I turn my
Okay.
camera off
Okay.
to help, just in case it helps with the internet connection. Because in the past, I've noticed that it helps to turn the camera off sometimes when somebody's speaking. So I just wanted to mention that. I'm still here.
Yeah.
Maybe we should all turn off our videos.
All right, that's fine. So, yeah. I'll just say, yeah, my own ideas, class libraries. Class libraries are the classes, interfaces, and that can be used by a lot of programs.
Hello?
Hello. The internet is terrible today.
Dang it. The internet strikes again.
Hola.
Aw.
Sorry, Mano.
Aw. Dang it. I'm sure what he was saying was very impactful. It presented a great understanding of the concept. It just sucks. The internet just won't let us be great.
Right?
Okay, I'll turn my video on now. Okay, so it seems like we have a good understanding of what the most important components of .NET are. Can I say that? Do you guys feel the same?
I think you're correct.
Cool. Yeah, things that I see is just common type system, common language runtime, application domain, and class.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the good thing is that if we don't really understand what common language runtime is or common type system, the next two questions are basically about those two concepts. But yeah, as far as the class library, just think of the using directives, system.link, system.collections.generic, system.net.http, if I got that one right. Just having access to those specific libraries of code, that have different functions. And then the application domain, what it seems like what Sophie was discussing earlier, was that it was basically a container that works with the runtime, and it isolates the code. It contains and isolates the code. That's my understanding of it. And maybe we'll have to just research more about that one. But to answer the question, that is my understanding of what the important components of Dotnet.
Yeah, correct.
Thank you. Okay, so so it's already like an hour and 10 minutes into it, I think. We are talking and chatting and I like it. So what is CTS? So basically CTS is common type system. Does that ring a bell to you at all, Sophie?
Yeah, it reminds me of value types and reference types.
Right.
Yeah, I was when I was trying to understand the whole thing of memory model, and then I came across value types and reference types, but I don't know if it's under the same category as this. So let me, I want to open it up.
Yeah, it looks like Gabriel had to drop off.
My,
That sucks. But I'm happy that
oh
we
yeah,
got the chance to collaborate together.
terrible.
I know, but this is fun. I think this is fun. Regardless of the internet issues, we're still great.
Exactly. Anyway, okay. Anyway, I think yeah, the value type and the reference type is, I mean, still under this. I think they're like the two different categories of this CTS.
Right.
So like I think, I mean, like data types, but then the data types fall under different categories, either value or reference. So then, so for value type, it holds data within its own memory space, while reference type holds a pointer to another memory location that holds the data. I mean, I think this is a bit deep. It's a bit deep. But like compared to what we have in the document,
Right.
so it says that it states how a set of rules that state how a data type should be declared. Yeah, data type should be declared, defined, and used in the program, and describes the data type that are to be used in the application. So we follow the rules that are present in the CTS. So the rules are made so that the data type declared using one programming language can be called. Oh yeah, so it means, so .NET has a defined type system. So even if you were using F#, in .NET, it would still be able to understand what C# is saying because they share the same common type system. So I think going a bit deeper, so that's where that whole thing of value type and reference type comes in.
Right.
And exactly, and then that whole thing of the relationship between the computer memory comes in because value type, for example, holds like data, just the way you can say you declare a variable and say int, I don't know, the 5, int x equals to 5. So that is like a value type. Int, for example, is a value type. But for reference type, examples I can see are classes, arrays, objects, and string. Huh. I don't know. Okay. And then another thing also that I noticed was that the value type and the reference type, they also have a correlation with heap and stack, I think. Let me look for it here. So like how do I put it now? Kind of like the structuring of the CLR. So the CLR usually allocates memory for objects inside of either the stack or the heap. So the value type, I think the value type uses heap. Sorry, the value type uses stack and the reference type uses heap. So I mean, I think this is a bit complicated. I think you have to we need to first of all understand memory models,
Right.
and understand compilation. Me
Right.
myself, I find it a bit difficult. It gets really confusing for me sometimes, but I just know that they all have some form of relationship.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know what stack is at this moment. I need to learn it, but I'm still a little fuzzy about the definition of stack. And then you said, is it KIP, like KIP?
No, HEAP.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know that one either. I'm gonna be honest.
Maybe I'll share this document that I put together, and then I got most of the information from a book
Oh,
I'm reading, Imposter Handbook. I don't know if you know it. Let me look for the book also.
okay.
And so many things to understand. So let me look for the book and share because
Okay.
I feel like it really explains those basic things like compilation. Not really for C# specifically, it just really explains it generally.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing. I should keep a list of links.
So I'll drop this. Sorry. I mean I am also struggling to understand this, so no pressure at all, please.
That's why we're here today. Just
Yeah.
check it out. Let's see.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna get that clean. My understanding of the common type system is that it is basically a standard for how data types are referenced, and used and structured.
Like that's just it's simplified.
But that's just my understanding. It's just like just the way that it's just a standard for data types. But I don't know, like I guess it just depends on who's interviewing, whether they want like just that surface level or if they want to dive in deeper to test your understanding. Let's see. going to the link. Okay, so I am going to just share my screen. Hopefully it doesn't give us any problems, because that kind of scared me with the net thing. Let's see, I'm gonna share my screen just so that people know, like, who are watching this, they can see what you're talking about, the book that you're talking about.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Can you
I
see
think
the
it's
screen
really
okay?
amazing. Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, this is the book.
Yeah, exactly. This is it.
Awesome. The Imposter's Handbook. Wow. What a title. Hey,
What a
I know who this guy
yes,
is.
Katantuan. Yeah, he wrote the forward for one, and then I think he was a co-author for the second one.
Oh, how awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then, is this what you're talking about, heap?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so heap is used for reference types.
Let me confirm that. Let's see. Yeah, heap is for reference type, and then stack is for value type.
So like the value types, like it's almost literal, like I equals 0. That is the value type, right? Like the value type is I.
I think it's more of the memory allocation. So the definition it gives is that value types, like it's it's this, when you assign a variable to, how do I put it? When a variable is like, when you assign a value to a variable using the value type, data type, it is stored directly to the memory. But when you use um, the reference type, the what you have, like maybe what you have is I, is not the value is stored. So that I just serves as a pointer to where it is stored. Yeah, that's really what I understand.
Well, I struggle with that stuff,
Yeah.
reference types, but
Wait, I think it's little by little. I mean, I think I just jumped a lot because I still do not understand it, but
it's a lot of
yeah,
information.
probably,
It's a lot of
yeah,
information.
yeah, it is.
Yes, yes, written for humans by a human. I like that.
Yeah, like the
I,
language is wonderful, very friendly.
yeah, I like that because it can be intimidating when you're trying to learn and understand these concepts. So, okay, and it's only $49. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that I would probably have to check out, or anybody who wants to have a better understanding. And is this just for computer science in general? Or
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I think it just like goes through everything you're supposed to understand, like those theoretical things you're supposed to understand in computer science, which is really what I wanted to do. That's why I got the books. So like it goes like deeply, like it's not based on a language. It's like the fundamentals that we were supposed to know. And I think knowing those fundamentals will now help in understanding each particular languages and the way they behave, like the CLR and the type system we're trying to understand.
right. I like that, like, that it's a book, and is it like a physical book?
So you could get the physical book. The physical book, I think, is $49 for one. They don't have the second one on print. They just have one season on print. But I got the digital edition. So I
Okay.
got the two editions, so season 1 and 2, but the e-copies.
Nice. For me, like personally, I kind of would be curious in getting like the physical copy just to like
Yeah, me too.
touch and just like maybe like just take notes or highlight,
Exactly. But I just thought the physical book doesn't have the second season doesn't have a physical book, a print copy. And I don't think he plans to make a print copy for the second one. From
Got
the
it.
website at least that's what he says, I think.
Right.
I mean anyone you want is totally fine.
Yeah. Thank you so much for providing this resource. I'm sure like it will be helpful for me or whoever watches this video. So I really appreciate it. So I'll just stop sharing.
Yeah.
And I guess
I mean, just to add a disclaimer, this is not a paid advertisement. I just got the book. I mean, just so that people watching don't think he paid me. I just got the book and I really love it. So
is this a sponsorship video? Did they trick
yeah.
us?
No, it's not sponsored at all.
But yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I want to, whoever's watching this, if we're talking about resources, I want to showcase that resource so they can also check it out if it helps them. So yeah. I guess we can go to the last question and then we can just wrap up because it does seem like we're kind of going a little over time, but I like our chats. We have great chats. Okay, so the last question is, question number 4. It is, what is CLR? And we've been discussing it quite a bit on the chat today, in the video today. It's basically common language runtime. Did you want to explain your interpretation? Well, I'll go with mine first. Sorry, I don't mean to be, but I feel like you probably have a better understanding. So I'm going to tell, like without the bias, I'm going to tell you my interpretation. You let me know what you think. But for me, my understanding of CLR, which is Common Language Runtime, is that it is an environment in which the .NET code gets converted into a common native language, which means that it's basically a standard where different codes or different coding languages can be ran with it. And, it's for .NET only. Common Language Runtime is for .NET only. And, since there are different libraries and coding languages within .NET, it's okay because Common Language Runtime is basically the net and it catches it all. And it's able to convert it into the native computer language.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful way to explain it and quite simplified as well.
Okay. You probably have it a much more eloquent explanation.
Anyway, I mean, thanks to this book, really. So I think the point to start from would be how a compiler works. So now you have code. Different languages have their different way of like compiling their code. Some use interpreter, some use like a command, and then it just compiles, and then some like C# use just inline compilation. So it just in time compilation. But so that means that the code would compile to a stage which is I think intermediate language. I hope I'm correct, but that's like
the intermediate language. I believe that's the one.
Yeah, exactly. So for .NET, the code would compile to an intermediate language,
Right.
and then that intermediate language, mm, I think it can run um, across platforms, Mac, Linux, and different Windows architecture.
Right.
Yeah, but then I think the compiler itself is specific for each language. So if you're writing C sharp, there's a compiler. If you're writing F sharp, I don't know. I think so because from intermediate language, it needs to now it needs to now go into the machine language in a way that the computer would understand. So I write C sharp. So the C sharp compiles to intermediate language. The F sharp compiles to intermediate language. So, but then for it to run on my Windows 32-bit system, it would the tool it uses to run on my Windows 32-bit system would be different from the tool that would be used for it to run on a Mac system and will be
Okay.
different from the one used for a Linux. I don't know their difference really, but
Fine.
that's one way I see it.
Yeah.
And then at the point in this book I shared,
Yeah.
they talked about they talked about this thing of compilation, and like there are like 5 different steps on how compilation works. I mean, they're really ambiguous. So I think it's to study. It's to
Yeah.
study. Yeah, but I think they really explain the whole thing of how the code now becomes machine language. And it's a very clean process. Like they're like 2 final steps that are just for cleanup and optimization.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's really it. I was speaking to someone about this whole thing of compilation, and he
Yeah.
explained it in a way that made a lot of sense, and now I've forgotten it again. I wish I recorded the conversation. I wish I did. Anyway,
It's fine.
that's what
It happens like that.
I.
Okay, so you're saying it gets like the first step is that it's the coding language, C sharp, F sharp, BB. Then it gets compiled into the intermediate language,
Mhm.
where you can run it on different platforms like
Yeah,
Mac,
exactly. Exactly.
Windows, Linux,
Mark. Yeah.
and it also gets compiled into the native language, the raw computer language. Um, so it's just a series of compiling. It's like a specific way of doing something, but at the end of the day, it's still a computer language, and it needs to be in touch with the native language. It needs to convert into the native language. And the only reason why we don't use the native language is because it's hard on the eyes.
Exactly.
It's a computer. We are humans. And so the reason why we end up with these different languages is because we're humans, and it's about our mind and how we interpret something. And so then that ends up getting translated at the very end to the native language.
Exactly. Exactly. I think you make it sound more simple than the way it is. Which is better.
And so the common language runtime is basically that series. In my understanding, it's basically that series in which these human languages get compiled into the native computer language.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the explanation you've given now of the series from like how it gets compiled from human language to native language, I think that is more of compilation itself. But
Right.
I think the CLR is the tool that carries out this process.
What a great point. Okay, that makes sense. It's the tool it's the translator tool.
Exactly. Just the way some languages have interpreter. Yeah, so but C# is a compiler.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Hey, that was our first session.
Yeah. I think we've done a great job.
Yeah, what a great conversation. I really enjoyed this. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank you for joining us. I love our conversation. So and the ability to, have it on YouTube is awesome. I appreciate Gabriel providing such great insight and his understanding of these concepts. And I also appreciate Dreamy popping in and providing support as well. So yeah, do you have any questions, comments as we close out?
Well, no, I don't know. I guess I just need to study and build a lot of things. And then I think I have shared this article I saw on how to build a compiler. Sometimes I see things, I'm like, how do you do this? But then people would break it down and then just do these things that we think are for I don't know, for super geniuses. I would look for that.
The brain power of that.
Right. So I mean, it's really to study and to practice. Right.
That, and I don't know if I've already mentioned it before, but that's basically what I've been doing so far. Is just my mentor recommended this website to me called Exorcism, and it's basically You've heard of it?
Yeah, it's amazing. I've been struggling with one of the tasks for forever.
Yeah, so I'm using obviously C#, the C# track, and I've just been spending either at least an hour to 2 hours, maybe more than 2 hours on working on these exercises, and it's really helping me build my problem solving skills back up. Because sometimes when you focus on one thing, the skill, you kind of lose skill in the other thing. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm really liking it. My mentor said that he wants me to look at it as going to the gym. And now I kind of look at it as going to the gym. And if I don't work on an exercise, if I don't spend at least an hour a day, at least an hour, then I feel guilty. But even the guilt's not even letting me not do that. So that's what I mean. I've just been sticking with it, and I am liking it. It's almost I'm kind of viewing it as, at the end of the day, playing a game on your phone, like Candy Crush or something, or Sudoku, just playing those games. I'm kind of looking at it as playing a game. It's basically a puzzle, how to solve this puzzle. And it's been a little addicting, I'll say that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think that's amazing. I will try my best to also do more exercises on Exorcism.
Yeah, it's fun, but it can be frustrating now if you run into
you're very frustrated.
Yeah. Okay, so you just shared the link to that compiler. So I want to share my screen to be able to show that. Let's see. So Let's Build a Compiler by Jack Crenshaw. 15-part series written from 1988 to 1995 is a non-technical introduction to compiler construction. You can read the parts online or download them in a zip file. Wow. Oh my, I'm just thinking the brain power of that. Even learning code to me is wow, amazing.
Yeah.
So like something like how to compile.
Like it's crazy. I couldn't believe it when someone sent it to me. I don't
Right.
remember the person's name even.
This is insane. It's insane. It's insane like what people are able to do. Like this is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I will also link this in the description box for anybody who's interested in learning how to compile. Yeah, and I'll even like take a look at it myself. Like this is very interesting.
Yeah.
Expression parsing. I wonder if that's the same thing as like the triparse.
What? Which one? Oh, parse. I mean, I didn't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's basically all I have to say today. Do you have anything else?
No, I have nothing else. Do you?
Like a website you would like people to reach you at, or anything like that, like GitHub?
I mean, to reach me, maybe. Okay, well, not Twitter because Twitter is blocked in my country.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem. Maybe my email.
Okay.
On GitHub. I mean, I dropped my GitHub. I don't know. I think my email is on my GitHub. Yeah,
Okay.
my email is on my GitHub. So I will drop my GitHub and
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'll just link your GitHub. I'll put the link to your GitHub in the description box as well.
Okay.
And that way people can reach you if they have any questions. But yeah, awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to have this conversation with me and to discuss these interview questions in details. And thank you for providing your wonderful insight. I really appreciate it. And I feel like I learned a lot. And I'm gonna listen to this video over again.
Me too. Thank you for having me and for also sharing so much insight and simplifying all these things in my head because sometimes I just make them more complex.
Appreciate that because like that's where you catch the details that you're supposed to know. So I think we're a really great blend.
Exactly.
But okay, I don't want to take up too much of your time. It looks like it's been almost like 2 hours. But yeah, thank you so much and you enjoy the rest of your Sunday.